How could I have foreseen that the child who helped with the coffee maker would enter my home, only for me to find my toys and personal belongings scattered haphazardly across the couch? In a heartbeat, everything changed, sealing destinies in shadows. Isolation clung to me, suffocating, like a thick, relentless fog. As my hand brushed the coffee maker, the stranger's presence shifted the air, altering my fate in an instant. Today I refused to stand alone. Who could have predicted that a naive young man would step into my world and change everything forever? A single moment ignited a chain of events, a whisper of fate poised to unravel everything. At 60, after 15 years of silence since the divorce, I stand alone in a world that is both familiar and eerily unsettling. In the shadows, I held my secrets tightly, precious treasures meant solely for me. They were always there, unguarded, a haunting reminder of my neglect, lurking in the living room, waiting for the moment to reveal my secret. Was it just a routine, or was it my frantic bid to break free from the crushing silence of loneliness? That morning, all appeared normal, but an eerie tension crackled in the air. A routine trip for a coffee maker turned into a whirlwind of unforeseen chaos. Then, like a flicker in the abyss, Theo emerged, extending his hand just as despair threatened to swallow everything whole. As I flung the door wide, he stepped inside, the box in his hands sending a chill racing down my spine. Unbeknownst to me, this seemingly ordinary day was poised for a shocking twist, hanging by a thread over the abyss of the unimaginable. At 23, Theo was a bundle of excitement, warmth radiating from him, but dark shadows lurked just beyond his vibrant facade. He stepped into my home, coffee maker gripped like a lifeline, eyes flickering, searching every shadow, every concealed truth lurking in the corners. In that instant, his eyes locked onto an unforeseen sight. The toys lie strewn, echoes of lost hopes, while the clothes, left behind on the couch, murmur tales of a time now cloaked in darkness. They lingered, an unyielding shadow, until one fateful day silence fell. Their absence struck me like a thunderclap, too late to grasp the weight of what was lost. What appeared ordinary hid a dark secret, a pulse of tension beneath the calm facade. Theo's smile vanished the moment he entered the living room. "You live alone, don't you?" he murmured, his eyes glinting with a perilous intrigue. Heat flooded my cheeks, a burning reminder of the moment's weight. It hit me like a bolt, a moment so fierce and unforeseen that I stood frozen, lost in the chaos of my own thoughts. Setting up the coffee maker was all that stood between them and the unknown. But then, everything shattered. In the shadows, I buried my secrets, never daring to unveil the depths of my soul to anyone. I had grown used to solitude, though at times, it weighed on me more than I cared to admit. "Theo, please, just pretend you didn't see any of this," I whispered, my voice trembling with dread. In a heartbeat, my dreams crumbled, leaving only fragments behind. Theo's gaze was intense, though his smile softened the moment, leaving me unsure of his thoughts. "Whatever you say," he whispered, his voice trembling with unspoken tension. Still, these moments demand attention. Their hunger for the spotlight mirrors your own. It stole my breath, my heart pounding, ensnared in a storm of uncertainty. I turned my head, a whisper slipping from my lips. "Theo, please, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more stories like this." My heart raced, the tension thick, the moment suspended in time. Your mind will race uncontrollably once this revelation hits. Let's plunge into the depths below. Your thoughts consume me. Yet, amidst the tempest raging inside, he forged ahead, his warmth a fragile flame in the shadows. "It's completely natural to feel this way when you're alone," he whispered, his eyes burning with an unsettling intensity. "Each person bears a weight, concealed in the shadows. Yet, there are times when this just isn't enough, is there?" His hand gestured toward me, his expression unreadable, as the air between us grew heavier. Our eyes met for a moment, hesitation flickering between us before we both looked away, unsure of what the moment meant. Theo's eyes pierced through me, and with every pulse, the space between us dissolved. Every word sliced through the stillness, sparking a blaze deep inside. In that instant, clarity struck. What surged within me was unprecedented. Theo's voice quivered, a haunting echo of that moment, his eyes shimmering with a chilling intensity. "I noticed it the moment you arrived for the coffee maker," he breathed, a shiver coursing through the silence. "You sparked a fire in my soul, a feeling I never knew could burn so fiercely." I paused, the gravity of my answer thickening the silence. What words can escape my lips? My emotions twisted and turned, a tempest within me, while the pull to surrender loomed, heavy and inescapable. My eyes battled the truth, desperate to conceal the tempest inside. A thick silence enveloped us, and when I finally spoke, my voice trembled. "I've been ensnared in these jeans and this shirt for hours. They're closing in, their desperation palpable, but the grip only tightens, suffocating me. I must find a way to embrace what truly resonates within me. Welcome to the unknown." The door stands ajar, a whisper of danger. What awaits inside could shatter your world. Theo's gaze pierced through me, a tempest raging just below the calm. I struggled to look away, if only for an instant, but it ensnared me completely. A haunting attraction, an unyielding grip. I was trapped with no way out. With each pulse, the gap narrows, tension thickening in the air. I slipped into something more comfortable, the fabric hugging me tightly, a secret poised on the edge of revelation. With trembling hands, I hurriedly fixed my makeup, my heart pounding as I moved toward the kitchen. My heart pounded as I descended. Theo stood ominously by the living room door. His gaze cut through the silence, thick with unvoiced desire. For a heartbeat, I froze, trapped in a whirlwind of turmoil. In that instant, clarity struck. His motives were clear as day. "You're my lifeline. Let's discover what lies ahead." His gaze pierced through me, a silent challenge. I stepped closer, heart pounding, tension thick in the air. "Theo," I breathed, the weight of uncertainty hanging in the air. "Is your heart free, adrift in the shadows? Is there someone who holds your heart? As the shadows deepen, do you feel the weight of loneliness pressing in?" As I stared at him, a blaze erupted inside me. We stood at the precipice, where each word, each movement, each fleeting glance crackled with unvoiced intensity. His eyes glimmered, a mix of excitement and timid curiosity, as a smile struggled to escape. "When the coffee maker is done, let's prepare a cup." Tension hangs in the air. The tension thickens, a heartbeat away from revelation. With every step, an unanticipated warmth enveloped me, igniting a flicker of hope amidst the shadows. Each detail about him pulls me in, an irresistible force that tightens its grip. Theo collapsed into the chair, a tempest of anxiety swirling inside him, each moment stretching into eternity. I edged nearer, the chair's legs screeching against the floor, a sound that hung heavy in the air as I settled beside him. As I pressed it beneath me, my skirt inched up, a mere whisper of fabric. Yet the awareness seized me with a vice-like grip. Theo's eyes darted up, teetering on the edge of a fragile bond. His gaze pierced through the silence, heavy with unspoken questions. I stole a glance at him, my heart pounding, and managed a shaky smile. With a swift motion, I crossed my legs, my arm draping over the chair's back, an electric tension crackling in the air. "Did your heart race, yearning for this very instant?" I teased, the air thick with unspoken tension. The silence deepened, a tempest lurking just out of sight. Theo hesitated before asking, "So, how long have you lived here?" His curiosity felt natural, yet oddly personal. Tremors of disbelief and wonder coursed through him. "I thought you were just 50 feet away." A spark flared to life inside me. Did he really think I was 50? It was captivating, but a haunting sense of hope lingered in the air. A smile flickered on my lips, sudden and charged with tension. "Do you favor those who have endured 5 decades of life?" I teased, my eyebrow arching as I studied him, the air heavy with unspoken tension. Each word, each passing moment pulled us closer, fueled by a fire that stole our breath away. His eyes widened, a storm of disbelief brewing within him. His gaze held, a tempest of unspoken words swirling just below the calm. "No, that's not what I meant," he breathed, his voice quaking with fear. A flicker of doubt lingers. "Your beauty is a sharp flash, a moment of youth that seizes the heart with urgency." His words echoed in my mind, a relentless torment. A sudden warmth engulfed me, sparking a fragile hope in the depths of darkness. A chill slithered through me, tightening its grip on my core. Each step drew me nearer, a searing pain slicing through, stealing my breath away. A suffocating silence enveloped the room, laden with secrets waiting to explode. I gasped, the question hanging in the air, my heart pounding fiercely. Is there a heartbeat that quickens your pulse? A presence that lingers in your thoughts? Is anyone out there? What happens when shadows creep in and the world around you goes still? Questions lingered, thick with tension, each one a silent scream for answers. My heart pounded as Theo drew closer, his voice a mere whisper, his eyes boring into my soul. "I'm alone," he breathed, the silence swallowing his confession. In that fleeting moment, uncertainty dissolved. I knew he was there. Alone, the loneliness clawed at him. A haunting presence he never wanted. Helena. Our eyes collided, a tempest brewing in silence, and I could feel the burden of my gaze pressing down on him. A shiver ran through me, the silence thick and heavy, wrapping around my heart. My emotions crashed over me, fierce and inescapable. The time to act had arrived, and my heart raced with urgency. "Tonight will twist and turn in ways I cannot predict," I declared, my voice unwavering, filled with urgency. My eyes were fixed on him, every word I spoke weighed down with significance. In that moment, the air thickened with the promise of change. "Theo, come," I beckoned, my voice a soft, urgent plea, thick with tension and longing. I stole a quick look at the room with the bed, then turned away, my heart pounding in my chest. He would pursue her even if it meant losing everything. Footsteps echoed ominously behind me, my breath quickening, a chilling reminder of the danger that was closing in fast. As we entered the bedroom, Theo halted, his breath caught in his throat. His shoulders tensed, a tempest raging within, as his eyes held steady, brimming with unspoken tension. I turned to face him, and his expression was a tempest of uncertainty and thrill. "Theo, are you ready for the storm ahead?" I asked, my voice barely a breath, the tension thick and suffocating. I stepped inside, a ghost of a smile dancing on my lips. What is experience but a fleeting shadow of moments lived? A whisper of the past that haunts the present. It runs deep, a truth lurking just beneath the surface. Stay calm, though the air crackles with unspoken dread. My hand shook as it brushed against his shoulder, the atmosphere heavy with unvoiced emotions. That fleeting touch sent shivers down his spine, a whisper that calmed his frayed nerves yet sparked a tempest of longing deep inside. In that brief moment, Theo's fiery essence clashed with the unyielding truth I had painstakingly built over the years. I adjusted my dress, a chill creeping in as the weight of the moment pressed down, thick and suffocating. I tossed my jacket aside, a shiver coursing through me as the air thickened, wrapping the room in an eerie stillness. A storm raged inside, but my expression betrayed nothing. I crept closer, the oppressive stillness enveloping us in a suffocating embrace. My fingertips grazed his cheek, a desperate plea suspended in the silence as I held my breath, yearning for his next move. Theo paused, tension thick as a heartbeat echoed in the silence, then leaned in closer. His gaze ignited with an intensity that pierced through the silence, sending a jolt of fear and exhilaration racing down my spine. He hesitated, standing close enough for the moment to feel significant, yet uncertain. His expression wavered, as if debating whether to speak or step away. His words ignited a fire within me, a fervor that was impossible to resist. Yet, that very innocence tightened its grip on my heart, pulling me into a whirlwind of emotions. With a heart weighed down by despair, I backed away, creeping toward the bed, every step shrouded in doubt. I sank onto it, every movement deliberate, as if the very fabric of time paused in anticipation. The icy touch pierced my skin, sending a shiver that tightened the knot of dread inside me. "Theo, come here," I urged, my hand beckoning him to take a seat beside me. I traced the sheets, my heart pounding in the silence of the empty space beside me. "Rest, but beware the shadows that linger. Fear hides in the darkness, poised to pounce. Is there really nothing to fear?" Theo crept closer, his heart pounding, as he hesitantly took his place beside me. We were paralyzed, the gravity of the moment suffocating, every heartbeat echoing like a countdown to the unknown. I faced him, my hand quaking against his chest. "Have you ever thought about this moment?" I whispered, the tension thick and electric. "Do you sense it, Theo?" Theo's gaze cut through the air, unyielding and electric. "I imagined it more than once," he breathed, his voice quaking with fear. "But I never believed it could truly come to pass." In that fleeting moment, all uncertainty slipped away, swallowed by the darkness. We merged not just in body, but in the very essence of our beings. We teetered on the brink, doubt enveloping us. Yet one undeniable truth cut through the haze. With Theo, a deep yearning ignited within me, a fire I never realized was smoldering. As I lay beside him, a spark of courage ignited, crackling in the tense air that surrounded us. I sat at the bed's edge, my gaze locked on Theo. As I rose before him, I leaned in, our gazes locked, a tempest of surprise and anticipation igniting in his eyes. "Theo," I breathed, my voice quaking with urgency. "Tonight, shadows creep, and a presence stirs in the darkness." Theo's throat constricted, his eyes locked in a haunting stare. His silence hung like a storm cloud, charged with the weight of my confession. His hands gripped the bed's edge, knuckles pale as fear coursed through him, but a flicker of courage ignited in his eyes. Heart racing, I leaned in, hands shaking as I held his face, the air thick with tension. "Let's seize this moment," I whispered, my lips trembling as they neared his, the air crackling with unvoiced longing. To question is to invite peril. Embrace the void. Theo's breath caught in his throat, but he stood firm, refusing to shatter the fragile silence. In that brief instant, we held on tight, two souls escaping the choking grasp of loneliness, yearning for comfort in the darkness of our intertwined lives. Theo gasped, each breath a desperate struggle. His eyes raced, frantic to capture each passing detail, haunted by the dread that this moment might vanish into the abyss. He hesitated, uncertainty flashing in his eyes, as his hands gripped my waist. A battle between bravery and trepidation. The doubt evaporated, igniting an urgent desire within. My breath held hostage, the moment's weight bore down, suffocating and inescapable. "Theo," I breathed, my fingers trembling as they brushed against his face. "This feeling overwhelms me, a haunting beauty that grips my heart." Theo's gaze held steady, his voice a low tremor, laced with an unsettling warmth. "It's overwhelming, isn't it? Everything is unraveling, and I'm struggling to hold on. This sensation seizes me, intense and overwhelming. I can feel the weight of the unknown pressing down on me." A smile flickered, a brief spark in the encroaching darkness. I leaned in, heart pounding, and pressed my lips softly to his forehead. "Theo," in the stillness, unspoken truths echo with haunting clarity. "Seize the moment," I implored, my voice quaking with desperation. Theo hesitated, a heartbeat hanging in the air. Then his hands moved deliberately from my waist, inching upward, drawing me into his gravity. Our breaths intertwined, the distance vanished, leaving only the electric tension between us. This moment hung in the air, heavy with possibility, poised to change everything. In an instant, Theo gave in, gasping, consumed by the intensity of the moment. He pressed on, just as I warned him, and the thrill surged, consuming us both. As I lay beside him, his joy pierced the silence, a sharp contrast to the heavy shadows he had borne for ages. Theo's fierce grip held me tight, a moment thick with unvoiced urgency. My head rested on his chest, the rhythmic thump of his heartbeat piercing the silence, a chilling reminder of the delicate moment we clung to. The rhythmic sound echoed, a chilling mix of solace and danger, leaving a heavy weight of anticipation behind. Little did I know, my fingers glided over his chest, each caress sending a jolt of electricity through the atmosphere. Theo gasped, his voice trembling on the edge of silence. "Brittany, this feeling, it's unlike anything I've ever experienced. The calm, the peace, it's suffocating." His voice quivered, teetering on the edge of reality. I smiled, but my gaze slipped away, my head weighed down against his chest. Could it really be true? I breathed a secret into the silence. "Yeah, really?" he whispered, his hands sliding to my back, pulling me closer, my heart pounding wildly. For as long as I can recall, I've chased a haunting shadow that slips through my fingers. I never thought I would stop, heart racing, to truly feel a moment like this. Yet, here with you, every battle dissolves, leaving only the heavy pulse of this moment. His words sparked a blaze inside, devouring every shred of uncertainty. As I lay there, his breaths pierced the stillness, each one a haunting reminder of the tension that hung in the air. "Theo," I breathed. "Being with you ignites a spark I believed had vanished for good. Unbelievable." Theo's fingers gripped my hair, a brief smile ghosting his lips, while the world seemed to pause, waiting for what would come next. "I guess we've given each other exactly what we desired," he whispered, a dark cloud passing over his expression. I lifted my gaze, our eyes colliding, a tempest of feelings raging just below the calm exterior. His face, a storm of raw honesty and relief, revealed everything in that heartbeat of time. "So be it, let it stay as it is." We clung to each other, the world fading away, lost in the heat of that fleeting moment. Outside, the quiet enveloped us, and the dim light seemed to pulse with a life of its own, as if it existed solely for our moment. Leaning against Theo's chest, I felt the weight of uncertainty pressing down. I shut my eyes, surrendering to the fleeting calm that enveloped me. In that moment, a chilling thought slithered into my mind. I imagined begging him to stay, to turn this house, these quiet shadows and lonely hours, into a place alive with his spirit. His presence could ignite a spark, transforming shadows into light, filling the void with an overwhelming intensity. I had no idea where this path would take us, what thrilling days and profound connections awaited just beyond the horizon. Yet, deep down I felt it, the truth that our tale was far from over. In the shadows, a chilling whisper echoed, and destiny's first tremors quaked through the silence. Silence hangs in the air. If you've journeyed this far, my tale must have struck a chord deep within you. The future looms, shrouded in shadows, and turning your gaze could cost you everything. Hit that follow button, turn on notifications, and let your voice be heard on this intense story.